In the late 1800s, Thomas Otto and his family moved into a mansion at the corner of Eaton and Seminole streets of Key West, West Florida, known as the Artist House. The Ottos were known to have stirred with their servants and sometimes even mistreating them. It was the treatment that won such a Haitian servant that provides such a twist in the story. This woman was hired to take care of their son, Robert. One day, Miss Otto was supposedly witnessed her practicing black magic in their backyard and fired her. But before she left, the woman gave Robert a lifelike doll, which stood a few feet, like at least 3 feet tall. It had buttons for eyes, human hair, believed to be Robert's, and it was filled with straw. The doll that resembled children were not unheard during the time, but this one proved to be special. Robert, named after himself, often dressed in his clothes. Robert the doll became his trustworthy companion. He took it with him on shopping trips into town. The doll had a seat and looked at the dinner table where the Robert would be sneaking a bites of food when her parents weren't looking. Robert would even be tucked into bed with the boy at night. Soon his innocent relationship took a strange turn. Soon after Robert chose to be his middle name, Jean, after scolded by his mother, he told her that Robert was the doll's name, and that not his. Jean was offered here by his toy room, having conversations with Robert. Jean would also say something in his childish manner, in responses to be heard such as lower voices. Sometimes Jean would become very agitated, worrying about servants and his mother. And of course she would. On occasion, she burst in to find her son cowering in the corner, while Robert sat up perched on his chair on the bed, just glaring at him. This was only the beginning. The household objects would be thrown across the room. Jean's toys would be turned, manipulated, mutilated, and even giggling could be heard. Whatever these unusual acts took place, Jean would always say, "Robert did it," and then the boy's punishment would always be that he blames his Robert's. As the mischief grew more and more, servants took their leave as new ones were hired. The Odos and relatives felt that it was time to do something. With the recommendation of a great aunt, Jean's parents removed Robert from his care and placed him in a box in the attic. This is where he resided for many years. After the death of his father, Jean was wild with his boyhood home. He decided to live in Victoria Mansion with his new life. Jean became an artist and felt that his house was spacious and would need to provide at least a place for him to paint. He went to the attic and dusted off his childhood toy. He became so attached to the doll despite his wife's displeasure. Jean would often take a doll with him everywhere he went. He even sat in his favorite little chair. While Jean and his wife slept nearby, the Turin's room became Robert's domain after Miss Otto moved him back to the attic. Their marriage slowly became sour until Miss Otto supposedly went insane and died of her unknown reasons. Jean then followed her soon behind. Robert supposedly attacked people, sometimes locking them in the attic. People who passed by claimed to hear evil laughter coming from the turret room. For some time, Robert remained in that empty house by himself until a new family purchased the mansion and restored it. The doll was once again moved to the attic. Displeased as it was much like last time, the doll was often found throughout the house. One certain night, Robert was then found at the foot of the owners of the bed, giggling with the kitchen with a knife in hand. This was just enough to send the feeling down to their home. Robert was then later moved to East Martello Museum in Key West, where he sits perched on the glass box. Despite his new living quarters, the doll is believed to have given up in menacing ways. Visitors and employees claim that they have seen the doll move. His smile became turned into known as a scowl. One employee cleaned Robert and turned off all the lights left for the night. The next day, he returned the lights to find the lights on, and Robert was sitting in a different position than the night before, and a fresh layer of dust covered his shoes. Some say he'll even curse you. If you want to take a picture of him, you must ask politely. He'll tilt his head in permission. However, if he doesn't, you take a picture anyways. A curse will fall upon you, and anyone who accompanied you in the museum. The same will happen if you make fun of him. To this day, Robert still remains in East Martello Museum with his sailor suit, clutching his stuffed lion. and continuing his menacing ways. And that, my little pretties, was Robert the Doll, a creepypasta. My final thoughts on this story? Oh, I would have to say that this one was actually a pretty freaky story. I'm not gonna lie. It was a really freaky story based on what seemed to be a real event, which it says here from, well, a video or something that I remember saying that he said to be cursed and that he's an inspiration behind Chucky from Child's Play. Now, I think that could be a good theory as to why the doll is cursed, but I'm not really, sure if that's even the case, but to be completely honest, this was actually a pretty interesting, story. Now, I could definitely say that this story was definitely freaky for what it is, not gonna lie. It was really freaky. I really have to say that it was really freaky in regards to that. It actually was pretty believable, which I am not gonna lie. And I have to say, a lot of people, like Creepypasta and all that, have narrated this story. So I thought, I would go ahead and take a look at the story. And once I took a look at it, I honestly found the story to be rather enjoyable. Now, I know there might have been maybe a few parts of the story that I wasn't, like, a fan of, but for some reason, this was actually a freaky pasta. Like, very freaky. Like, I was, like, reading through this, and I was like, oh my god, like, that's actually pretty freaky, especially when it comes to dolls. A lot of dolls are really freaky nowadays, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of dolls, like, if you watch Chucky, you probably know a lot of dolls nowadays are, freaky. Like, this is probably one of the reasons why nobody would buy dolls again after, this story, but if you could definitely say, if they seen Chucky, they do not want to, really care for, they don't want to, they just don't want anything to do with Chucky. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Chucky was a pretty interesting doll, but this story actually was really good. Now, the grammar was really well written, I'm not gonna lie. The grammar was really well written, along with the sentence structuring being good. The storyline was awesome, and the paragraph structuring was really well made in detail. So I could definitely say that the story actually really well made in detail. So I can definitely say that this story, I absolutely have to say that it was actually pretty well made in detail when it came to this story. So I actually had to say that this story was actually, oh my goodness, pretty well made in detail. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So I could definitely say it actually played out a pretty well, concept to it. So I could definitely have to say this story is already pretty well made in detail. So I could definitely say I really do find this story to be entertaining. And it's a pretty good creepypasta, which is pretty cool, to be completely and utterly honest. So I can definitely say I really do find this story to be rather enjoyable, yes. Well made, yes. It's, whoa, freaky, I could definitely say. That story was actually really well made and detailed. It actually played out good. I really do like, everything about this story. Now, it does not say who the original author is, as I can't seem to find who the original author is who wrote it, so I'm gonna leave it as anonymous for now. If I do find out who the original author is, like, I'll be sure to give him or her proper credit in description and all that if I do find out who the original author is. So, anyways, with that being the case, with that being said, yeah, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that is fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regarding these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. Before I get to my final rating, I can't really see anything that I don't like about this story. Like, I don't really seem to see anything. But if I did happen to see something or notice something I didn't point out, feel free to let me know in the comments below. This story is also on the regular Creepypasta Wiki. If you guys want to check it out, that's totally fine with you guys, with me. If you want to check out the story, feel free to. It's on the regular Creepypasta Wiki. Anyways, with that being the case, and with that being said, my final rating of this story is a 10 out of 10. It's a really great story. I really enjoyed this one. This one was flat out amazing, really well done and detailed. It actually played out a pretty good concept. Really do like it. And this story was just, oh my goodness, it was just really good. So, anyways, with that being the case, and with that being said, what did you guys think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell when I upload so you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.